Welcome to Simplify Your Retirement with certified financial planner Stephen Stricklin from Wise Wealth LLC. In this podcast, we help individuals and couples plan for a peaceful and enjoyable retirement. Join us on this journey where we explore the importance of simplifying the retirement planning process, as Stephen, with his years of experience and expertise in retirement income planning, along with guest experts, will help you achieve first wisdom, then wealth. And don't forget to check out the Simplify Your Retirement online course and other great resources at simplifyyourretirement.com. Now, on to the show.
Hello, and welcome to Simplify Your Retirement with Stephen Stricklin from Wise Wealth. Good afternoon, Stephen.
Good afternoon, Paul. Great to be back here on the show.
Yeah, we're excited for today. I know last week, the last time we were on, we talked with Mark Comfort, and we talked about the mission statement of Wise Wealth, which is...
Yes, the mission statement for those who are joining us perhaps for the first time. We've spent this third season really digging into the mission statement of Wise Wealth, and that is to guide investors in the path to financial significance where they are free to give and to serve and to enjoy life like never before. And for those that are joining us perhaps for the first time, I would encourage everyone to go back and listen to the first couple episodes of season 3, where we really dig into each one of those words and why each one of those words is extremely important. And it's not just about the mission of Wise Wealth. It really is about, it's the motivation why people work and why people want to retire so they can get to the place where they are just more free to give and serve and to live. And so it's very relevant, very applicable to this podcast and to the people that we talk with and work with every day.
Absolutely, and I know it's been a great season so far. We're getting close to the end of season 2 here, but I think season 3 actually. But you know, this is really exciting time. I'm looking forward to today's episode as you have a few guests with you today.
That's right, and so we mentioned last time we had Mark Comfort as on our guest. Mark was the owner of a travel agency, and we had a great discussion on the value of a great vacation. And so a part of enjoying life is taking great vacations. And that's really what the last episode was about. These are memorable moments in time. But another part of enjoying life is creating an enjoyable lifestyle. So it's not just about memorable moments, it's about having a lifestyle that you enjoy. And we want to help people get to a place where they have a lifestyle they enjoy. And so as we've discussed before, for some people, a vacation to the mountains is more enjoyable than a vacation to the beach. Paul, if you had a choice, where would you go?
Absolutely, the mountains.
Yeah.
Give me the cold weather.
Paul would always take the mountains. I'm a guy who would always take the beach. So there's people that have different taste in where they want to go on vacation. It's the same with lifestyle. For some, a life in the golf course is living the dream. For others, it's buying an RV and hitting the road. And for others, it's living at the lake. And so one of the advantages that we have here as financial planners and working with people each and every day to get to and through retirement is that we get to hear people's dreams. And sometimes it is the memorable moments they want to pursue, and some of them are the lifestyles that they want to pursue. And so that excites us. You know, one of the things that I enjoy doing is help people get to the place where they get to be and to do what they want to be and do. And we've already talked about giving and serving, and now again about lifestyle today and enjoying life. And so I am excited to have some of our clients on the podcast today. They each have chosen a lifestyle that they enjoy. And so I look forward to having our listening audience hear from some of the people who are enjoying life now. And for those of you who have followed us on this podcast so far, we had some of our clients talk to us about their experience with giving. We've had some of our clients come in and talk about their experience with serving. And now today we have some of our clients here. So first we have Barry and Linda. Barry and Linda, thanks so much for joining me on the podcast today.
You bet. Glad to be here.
Linda, you're there?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, great. Thank you guys for being here. And we have Jeff and Janie as well, but for today it's Jeff joining us on the podcast. Jeff, thanks for being here today.
You're welcome. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. I invited these clients on because they're great examples of why people work hard and save, and one of them is to be able to enjoy life. But before I even get started, hearing from their perspectives, I think it's interesting as we've worked with a variety of clients, and that is most of our clients are involved in all three. And so even though Jeff and Janie are here today to talk about enjoying their lifestyle, and same with Barry and Linda, it doesn't mean that they don't do giving and serving. Most of our clients, families are involved in all three of these things, but we can have each one of them talk about one part of it. So today they're here to talk to us about enjoying life. And so Barry and Linda, you guys are on the show today. You've been clients of Wise Wealth for a while, and you guys have chosen as your lifestyle in retirement the RV life. So can you tell us, first of all, can you tell everybody how long you've been a client of Wise Wealth?
Gosh, we go back pretty close to the beginning. I mean, you were over on 470 in your first office building when you were sharing space with a common secretary, and so this goes back 08, 09?
Yeah,
maybe?
probably
10?
2008, 2009.
Sounds
So
about right.
absolutely, you guys were here a long time
so
ago.
We go back. Yeah, we go back a long ways.
Yep.
I know. We've got some annuities that are 10 years old, so it's at least that long, right?
That's amazing. Well, it's amazing because we did those plans, 10 years ago, and now you're reaping the benefits and the rewards of that. And one of the reasons you wanted to get to the place to retire is so that you guys could do some RVing. So why don't you tell me a little bit about that? When did you get this RV? Did you wait until you retired to get your RV?
We bought our first RV probably 2 years before we retired, and kind of did some weekends and a week here and there, that kind of stuff, just to make sure that we were going to enjoy it and that sort of thing. And then when we retired, we stepped up and bought a bigger fifth wheel, and so we spent about 4.5 months in it last year.
Wow.
And
so
been all over the country.
Right. So last year, in a year where, coronavirus had, basically limited a lot of people's ability to travel, one of the things that was an advantage for people that owned RVs was there was pretty much no limitations. Is that correct?
No, you don't. In fact, we called our doctor before we took off. This was in the middle of the COVID. And when she answered the phone, I said, I'll be doing all the cooking. We will not be using public facilities. We will be in our trailer, and I rattled off all the stuff that we would do. She said, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a pretty big thing.
So that's one good thing about, that lifestyle. It's one that you don't have to worry technically about, I guess pandemics limiting you and vaccination passports or whatever else may come out of this when you're in your own RV. So that's something that's really neat.
Yeah.
And then you guys chose what do you have, a fifth wheel?
Right.
Okay. And so
we bought a 36-foot fifth wheel, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
We've traveled from Florida to Idaho to everything in between, and
okay.
It's just
Montana and Wyoming, and we've met a lot of very good friends.
Yep.
And sometimes we travel with them. They stay in their trailer, we stay in ours. We're easily entertained. We don't need a lot of excitement.
Right. That's awesome.
A chair underneath the tree.
That's right.
And a glass of iced tea is pretty good.
Yep, that's good. Something that you had worked for many years to get to the place to be able to do. And
right.
So that's awesome. And Jeff, you and Janie have been living on the lake. You're already there. And so I'll let the audience know right now, you're getting ready to retire. Neither one of you have retired yet.
Correct.
You're getting close.
Very close.
And but you guys chose a long time ago to actually to move to the lake and live in the lake. How long do you guys have lived on a lake?
We've actually lived on a lake 18 years now.
Okay.
But we started as weekenders.
Okay.
During the summer primarily. Just traveling out, maintaining 2 homes.
Right.
Real pain in the rear.
That's right.
2 of everything. You think you're going to travel and do all kinds of stuff, but you really get tied down to managing 2 properties.
Right. So there's work into having these things, even though you can enjoy it, just like the RV, just like having 2 homes. So for a long period of time, you guys had 2 different places, like you said, trying to manage those. And then what made you decide that, hey, we want to make this our full-time, instead of having 2 separate places, maybe one in the city, one in the lake, you said, let's combine these things and go all in.
Yeah, when our youngest son graduated from high school, we made the decision to move out to the lake full-time.
Okay.
and consolidated everything. And that, that was part of our financial planning too. I mean, you have to be looking far enough out to what you want to do. And so we just decided that full-time living on a lake was going to be what we wanted for ourselves and for our family and our friends, and made it happen.
I'm looking forward to that in retirement. So it's interesting, hearing from you and also Barry and Linda, that both of you, practiced this before you made a decision to go all in. Barry and Linda just mentioned a second ago, they took a couple years before they retired, got the RV, traveled in it, make sure this is something they wanted to do, and then they knew. You guys, had a place in the lake that you didn't live there full time, but you did it enough to say, that's what we want to do. Right. I think that's something that's really neat for people to understand. We always tell everybody, before you retire, especially when it comes to retirement lifetime income, you should practice living on that income, for 6 months before you retire, to make sure that that amount of money is going to feel like it's enough. And in the same kind of context, you guys all did that when it comes to choosing the lifestyle that you did. Barry and Linda, when did you guys, decide, I guess, that, hey, this is what we want to do in retirement? Was it, during those couple of years before, where you said, hey, I think this is something that we're going to really enjoy?
Yeah, I think it was. We got a taste of it for a couple of years, and then, and then we decided, when we retired, we decided we're going to be taking some longer trips, so we probably need a little bigger rig, and so. Thankfully, we were, thanks to you in many ways, we were prepared to step up and buy a little bigger rig, and it's a mobile house basically, so we're not wanting for anything in this thing, and so if we want to stay in it a week or a month or 6 months, we can, and it's just been we've met so many great people on the road. I mean, that's been one of the best experiences, is just meeting so many people in the campgrounds.
That's interesting. That's a great aspect of, first of all, being able to be retired, number one. Number two, just a lot of times in retirement, I think people lose the camaraderie, being around the workplace, seeing other people, talking to people every day, and all of a sudden, now it's maybe you and your spouse in a 36-foot rig. You know what I mean? But still, it's nice to be able to get outside and be able to have the social aspect, and I'm sure that's the same at the lake. A lot of that has to be, it's great for you and your family and people to gather there, but just even the social aspect of it.
One thing that we factored in on traveling in an RV is that we figured we need to do this while we physically can, because to be honest, it's some work to get to prep, to get ready to go, and then, take the trailer and set it up. And lots of times we're on one of these long trips, we'll stay 2 or 3 days one place, and then we'll say a week and a half in another. So you're constantly physically staying active, which, in some sense we like. But if we'd waited till we were 10 years older, I don't know that, we could have done it. So we need to do it while we physically can.
Well, that's a great point. And that's true. Don't put it off. If it's something that you really want to do, do it while you're healthy and able. And Jeff, you guys too, so obviously it's enjoying it for yourselves, but I'm sure there is the social aspect you guys may look forward to, seeing other people on the lake and getting to know people that way.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of new friends over the years, but more importantly, the folks that live full time at the lake is a community. Yeah. And that was a key for us, was having that community, because my wife grew up in a small farm town. Okay. So we kind of know a lot of people, getting to know more, active in all the activities around there, helping with the community. There's a lot of committees doing social good, so it's good to participate in that and have that at home.
Yeah, this is very good, and I think it's going to be enlightening for people that are planning for retirement and listening to this, because I'm listening to both of you. I'm hearing a few things, and that is preparing before you actually make that decision. That's one. Another one is, a lot of people, when they plan for retirement, they try to plan maybe a community they want to live in, the social part of it. So it's not just it's about choosing the lifestyle that you want to enjoy, but also knowing that it's also going to put you in with a certain peer group. It's going to put you in a certain community of people, and that's something else that you should be thinking about, planning about, enjoying as well. So Barry and Linda, you guys actually retired not that long ago, so I guess, and decided to go, I don't know if I would call you full-time RVers, but maybe half the year you guys are on the road. How did you know it was time to to retire and feel free to do this?
Well, I think I was done working. I was tired. I'd had enough, and so, you know, as soon as we could, we pulled the trigger. You kept me from that a couple of years. I thank you, I guess, for that.
That's right. Yes.
But I tell you what, there is a ton of peace in where we're at because of the financial plan that we have. It's really made a huge difference knowing that, you know, we can do what we want to do when we want to do it and how we want to do it.
Yep.
And that's all because we did plan well in advance.
But you guided us in that. I can't thank you enough for that.
Appreciate that. But when we retired, I mean, we just kind of went, you know, we've got a Grand Design camper, and we went to a rally or two, and again, we met a lot of nice people there, and we said, you know, this is kind of neat and kind of fun, and so we just have, we've ended up traveling with one of these couples. Gosh, we spent 2 months with them last year on the road.
That's amazing.
So, you know, it's just kind of as like Jeff's talking about a community at the lake. Well, there's a community in the campground as well, and so amazing how many people you see on the road.
Yep.
You know, as you get out there and you see them over and over again.
That's awesome. You guys had developed a friendship. You didn't even know them before you retired. They were not in your life at all. And now all of a sudden you traveled with them for 2 months.
There's a couple in West Virginia and a couple in Tennessee and a couple in Southern Missouri. And so we've just all really clicked and become great friends, and we are in constant communication, and it's just been great.
That's awesome. So Barry and Linda, we've worked together for a long time, and I can remember these conversations where you were ready to go. You wanted to retire, but you hung in there for a few years longer. But I'm glad to hear you did it when you did it, and you're enjoying it. And what we love knowing is that you put together a plan, you know, more than 10 years ago. You made sure you were ready. Now you're able to go do these things and not worry about the finances, not worry about the income, not worry about the investments. You're doing what you're supposed to be able to do. And I can't tell you, you know, how much that, you know, means to us, because that's what we want to help people do. We know a lot of people will spend their retirement years still watching the stock market every day, still worried about what happens if the stock market goes down by 10% and these sorts of things. And so that's awesome to hear. Jeff, you and Janie have not been clients as long as Barry and Linda. How long have you guys been here?
A little over a year now.
A little over a year. Yeah. And so what I find interesting, you know, with you guys is that you had done a lot of, you know, saving, investing, and planning before you even found us. But now that you guys are here, you guys kind of had a time frame where you didn't know if it was going to be this year, next year, exactly when it was going to be. But you're feeling more comfortable that it could be sooner rather than later.
Yeah, sooner.
If Janie was here,
it'd be now. It'd be now. But
that's
no,
right.
It's like you said, we were doing our own plan and working and really trying to put it all together. But Janie was very concerned at all times, and she really wanted someone other than me to say it's okay.
Right.
So when she decided, then we started talking about, well, retiring at separate intervals has its own issues as well. So then we started looking at, well, could we both retire? And even though I'm a little younger, I get to retire a little earlier.
That's right.
Kind of like everyone else, you've helped. You gave us the thumbs up, and we were confident in that, and here we are.
That's good. That's awesome. I appreciate that. And that's what I wanted our audience to hear. You know, some people, you can plan earlier and get there. There's no really too early as far as we're concerned. There's really no too late. The main thing is you have to have a plan. And like you just mentioned, sometimes it takes, you know, a third party to validate, to look at it and say, yes, this is okay. You're going to make it. You're going to have the income you need and so forth. And so we love doing that, helping, you know, clients just like you guys be able to get there. So, you know, Barry and Linda, you mentioned you're healthy now. You're enjoying this. You're able to, you know, take the RV and off the truck and back on the truck and get everything set up and torn down. And so what do you see yourself doing in 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What does life look like for you guys in retirement?
Well, I don't know. We're going to do this RV thing for a while, I think, probably another 4 or 5 years, and kind of see where we're at. If we're still enjoying it and still healthy, then we'll probably stay at it. And if not, then we've kind of done our thing and move into a new season of
something else.
Something else, yeah. Who knows what that'll be. But, so, you know, don't have any concrete plans as far as when we're going to stop, but right now our plan is to keep going.
Good.
But there's such a variety in RV travel.
Yeah.
I mean, different parts of the country. And, I mean, I grew up in a small town in Missouri, and I think I went one time to Colorado, and that was it.
Right.
But we've seen really, really interesting parts of the country and interesting people and things to do. And,
Right.
you know, if you do some detailed planning, you can stay pretty cheap. Some of our spots are $10 a night, so
Right.
you can't find a hotel for that. One that you want to lay your head down in.
Right, exactly. Well, it's amazing. Like you said, you know, we live in a beautiful country, and you grow up a lot of times, and you see different things on TV or in books and things like that are in the United States of America. And it's tough to just take a road trip. You got kids in school. You're working all the time to be able to go see these places. Finally, I took my kids, last year to the Grand Canyon. I took my kids this year to Yellowstone. These are places I've heard of my whole life, seen them at different things. But to be, your mid 40s for me, and my kids don't understand this. But I'm telling them, look, I've never seen this either. This is the first time, obviously, just because I'm taking you here and you're teenagers or whatever the case may be. I hope you enjoy this because it took me this long to get here. And so I think that's a really neat perspective to be able to see things around the United States and do it. Jeff, you guys.
We're seeing a lot of, we're seeing a lot in the campgrounds. We see an awful lot of, particularly last year, young folks with kids that are full-time in the campgrounds. They're homeschooling, or last year, they were doing their school curriculum off the internet, and the folks can work on the internet, and so you're seeing a lot more younger folks in the campgrounds these days. Which is
absolutely, that's a good point, and there's a lot more flexible work schedules for people, and it's a good place to travel, and like you said, continue to work. Jeff, you guys in the next 5 to 10 years, you guys are just on the edge of getting ready to retire, and so. Let's say before this year is up, you guys are able to walk away from the 9 to 5, as it were, the 40 hours a week. What are you looking forward to in retirement? What does next year look like, you think, or 5 to 10 years out?
We're actually kind of the opposite in the sense that both of us travel for our work.
Right.
So we're on the road all the time until this COVID year. Yep. We were literally gone every week. So for us, this is really about getting stable in one place, building out, all our friends and spending time, but also taking advantage of all our retiring friends who are all planning things like RVing or going to Florida and buying a second house, and going and visiting them for our little getaways, but really focusing more on, grandkids and family and friends for a while. And then I'm going to get my golf game honed in.
So that's important. Exactly. Very important.
So plenty of things to do, and Janie's a big volunteer person, so I'm sure she'll fill our agenda with that as well.
Absolutely. That's exciting, Paul. This is something we talk about all the time, and that is a lot of times we ask people when we're meeting with them for retirement, what does retirement look like to you? And that answer is different, and therefore the financial resources are different, depending on what retirement looks like to you. And this is really a great example because, some people, we've talked about this a lot. A lot of people, travel their entire career and they just finally want to get retired and stay somewhere. Some people were stayed somewhere their whole career and they want to finally get out. And so that's why this is a great example of having these our clients on today to be able to talk about these things.
And even like Jeff just said too, with the mission statement of living and serving and enjoying life, they all do that. You mentioned Janie's serving. And I know you all, Barry and Linda and Jeff and Janie, you guys give as well. And so it's not just one thing that we're focused on. It's all three, even though we're just talking about the life today.
Yeah, and we think that's how you have a full life. You're able to do these things, and that's why we're motivated to help people get to that place as soon as possible. So that they're free to do all three of them more than they can if they're working, regular full-time jobs. So Barry and Linda, do you feel like you've been able to, well, I guess I would ask you, do you have any advice? Any advice for anybody listening that is, still working? Anything you wish you had done sooner?
Well, I don't know. Again, we started, with you 10, 12, 13 years before we retired. Yep. So it was, we had time to put a plan together, and we're just so grateful that the plan is working just like it's supposed to. And there's an awful lot of peace in that. Good. So I guess I would say, like you said earlier, you can't start too soon.
Yeah.
Just get a plan together and go for it.
Good.
I know one thing we had. In fact, it was before you, Stephen. We had another financial planner say he has seen so many people save money their whole life to retire, and they're afraid to spend any.
Yeah.
And then when they finally retire, physically they can't do anything.
Right.
They can't spend the money. And I know one thing that we dealt with you, which kudos to you, is you convinced us to have a certain percentage of our investments, I don't know if you want me to say this or not, in annuities, where we have predictable, dependable income every month, and then the rest of it fluctuates with the market. So if the market goes up or down, we're not devastated.
Right.
We have our Social Security and we have our annuity income. So you really did some good advice on
Thank
that.
you. I really appreciate that, Linda, very much, and absolutely.
Why, Dave Ramsey says we have a gland that's, I can't remember what he called it, purity gland or something.
Yes.
And that ours is a little bigger than the guys. So,
right. Yeah, absolutely. There's something.
You took care of that with both of us.
I appreciate that, very much. And so absolutely, we want to, our philosophy here is you should protect the income, grow the rest. And it's for reasons just like this. You need to be able to know that no matter what happens, the paycheck's going to be direct deposited every month. That's not going to change.
It does.
Regardless of elections and regardless of, anything else going on that we would call current events. And current events affects the stock market and then affects your the growth rate of your growth bucket and investments, but it should not affect your income stream. And so it is all about peace of mind. And so and it's so that our clients can enjoy life. And we feel like, if all of your assets are tied to the stock market, how can you really enjoy it? If you're wondering from year to year, what am I going to be able to do next year? If the value of our assets went down by 25%, can we still enjoy the life that we dreamed of? And so it really comes into the entire philosophy here. Jeff and Janie, you guys as well. You've had a great career, worked hard. Any advice or anything that you wish you had done sooner, or as you're planning for this next phase of life?
I was actually pretty fortunate early in my life to have someone give me the advice to save. What I didn't have was the advice of planning. So what I've been trying to do with my kids, like my daughter who's working with you, is to plan. Because without a plan, you can save all you want, but you don't know what you're going to end up with, or if it's sufficient, or if the timing's right. And you got to factor in all those variables. And if you're not making a plan and then working the plan, it's not gonna not necessarily gonna turn out as much as you'd like to in the positive direction.
Exactly.
That's a good one. You know what I mean? We could not have said that better. You know what I mean? But that's the reality, and I appreciate you saying that. Even for your daughter, even for the children of our clients. It is. We do hear, and Linda just mentioned Dave Ramsey. We hear constantly, you need to save, save, save. And so I talk to employer groups all the time and people that are investing in their 401k. And they think that everything's going to be okay just because they're putting in, 3%. And I always tell everybody, that's good. It's a good place to start. But there is something better than just investing in the 401k. It's investing the right amount every month. It's into the right, investment mix that's going to get you the right rate of return. That's going to get you where you need to go. And that is a mouthful, but that's different than what, like you're saying, Jeff, that's different than just saving. There is a peace of mind for someone even in their younger to know at the very least, I know it's the right amount. I know I'm invested in a way to get the right rate of return, and that's all I can do. I can do my part. I need the investments to do their part. And then we would say that when someone gets to within 10 years, 10 years is really the sweet spot. When someone gets to within 10 years of their retirement date, that's when we need to start introducing what we call the preservation phase of investing, where you start protecting or preserving the assets that's going to be needed for an income stream. And so you and Janie and Barry and Linda, you guys are great examples of the types of people that we enjoy working with here, the families that we love helping. We love the fact that you guys are pursuing your dreams. You're able to do it. It's why we exist. We love the fact that we're able to work with families like this, Paul, who that we want to help, embody the mission. You know what I mean? That's what we want to help people do. And it seems like those are the types of people we attract, the type of people that want to get to the place. So not to be independent, per se, and that's why I use the word free, not to just be successful, but to be significant. And the way you do that, and you should be able to enjoy it, all three of these things, that is giving and serving and enjoying life. So Barry and Linda, thank you guys for being with me on the show today.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Appreciate it very much.
Enjoy your next road trip.
Coming up in October.
Okay, great. Jeff and Janie, you guys, enjoy it. Thanks for being on the show.
No problem. Really enjoyed it.
And, if we can get on the golf course with you sometime, I could definitely, maybe after you retire for a few years, you can start giving me some pointers too.
Okay.
Need some help with that.
I love the guests that you bring on, but especially when it's clients. I mean, if you're new to the show, you go back and listen to season 1, especially kind of episodes 7 through about 9 or 10, where we really talk about the principles of retirement planning, the 3-bucket approach and all that. And like some of the stuff that Linda mentioned here too, I know Tom Hegna was a guest in episode 2, season 2, episodes 7 and 8, where he was really talking about some of this predictable income. And so it's great to go through season 1 and 2 and talk about how and why we do planning, but then to be able to talk to people like Barry and Linda and then Jeff and Janie as you guys are getting ready for retirement to say, this is why we do it and this is how it works, so that it creates, like we always talk about here, financial peace comes from having a plan.
That's right. And that's the most important thing. Everything derives from the plan. There's no investment decisions outside the context of a plan, and all those things, and that's what we're going for with the show. And so I would also recommend for anyone who perhaps is listening to us for the first time, they're not sure where to find us, they can go to our website, which is wisewealth.com. That is just simply wisewealth.com.
Absolutely. And so we thank all of you for being on the show today. Thank you, Stephen, again, for always bringing on great guests for our listening audience. And, of course, our last thank you goes to you, the listening audience. We wouldn't be here without you. Thank you for tuning in to the Simplify Retirement Podcast with Stephen Stricklin. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet, just click below on the subscribe now button. This way, when Stephen comes out with a new podcast, it'll show up directly on your listening device. This makes it much easier to share these podcasts with your friends and family. Again, thank you so much for listening today. For everyone at Wise Wealth, this is Paul Brock reminding you that financial peace comes from having a plan. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Simplify Your Retirement podcast. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Wise Wealth LLC or Simplify Your Retirement. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of a financial advisor or other qualified financial professionals with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning.